This is me mate Gabe. He has no relevance to this walk around at all, but he will be doing interviews with cars on October the 12th at Clex. Thanks Gabe. And this car is a HJ45. I'd like to say it's a 1979, 1980, I wouldn't have a clue. It's actually got a 12 HT in it now, so there's been a few modifications and we've been part of the story on this 45 as it's all unfolded. So let's go into detail. This thing's a bloody beauty and a lot's gone into it. We'll start with Rob owns this. Now Rob has purchased it from a gentleman in Toowoomba that did the conversion, had it engineered, all sweet, but Rob wanted it a little bit shiny. Actually, before I go into that, in Toowoomba, but rumour has it, it comes from Bow Desert. Bow Desert's southeast Queensland, beautiful place. That's where I'm from. G'day Bow Desert. And it's made its way to Toowoomba, made its way to Rob. Now Rob has done or orchestrated a restoration. He started by stripping the engine out first, so full 12 HT out, full rebuild, everything, the head, the engine, had it all reconditioned and put back in. He put a new G turbo in there and went to town on that, and then decided it needed to look prettier as well. So he's booked it in for some panel work, and this is a really good specimen of one that needed a bit of work. So it was, they fully tore it down. I believe they've left the body on the chassis, but tore it down, but some of the panels were too far gone. So this is a good example of some of the Chinese panels that we sell. You can buy them in various places, Landcruiser.com. They're not for the faint-hearted, I'll tell you. There's a few complaints in some of the websites. Oh, they're too hard. They don't fit like Lego. My anus hurts. These ones, they need a panel beater. And so we've sent them up the road to the panel beater we use, and he loves them. He loves them because he doesn't want to deal with the rust that's involved. So the guards, replacement. The front windscreen is replacement. And one of the harder ones to fit, the back wall. That did need cutting and shutting. It's not Lego, not for the faint-hearted, but the weights are all the same. The steel's pretty good, and I've always got this thing, I'd rather Chinese steel than Australian fiberglass in my car personally. And in the right hands, it comes up excellent. And look at this thing. So all the panels off, sandblast, respray, and put it back together. Rob's thrown an ARB bar up the front, but he's kept it stock. Even the tray itself, the tray's got a false floor in the back. He didn't pull the floor out, but it's a pretty good floor, but they've just gone around, took the dents out, resprayed it, and went throughout the whole car. Running the splitties, and don't they look good on the BF Goodrich? Keep it all original looking. They've come up a real treat. And we've got a safari style snorkel on the other side, just for the 12 HT to breathe better and keep the dust out on the dusty roads. And that's basically the outside of this vehicle. It's come up really, really nice. The reason it was in Mr. Landcruiser, it's been here a couple of times, but the reason this visit, once the panel beater's done, we've done a little bit of electrical, done a little bit of the brakes, and this engine's brand new. So it's been sitting there for a while I wait for the panel beater. But we got the oil pressure up, ran it up, put a few Ks on it for him. We're really happy. Rob's allowed to come pick this up now. Let's go and have a look at the engine. Oh yeah, 12 HT. Listen to that bad boy rumble. We've been getting a lot of comments, show us the engine run, and I don't blame you. You've got to hear, this thing's got a really, really sweet note. Let's go through it. Now this thing is pretty dusty still. One thing the panel beater does, he'll say straight to your face, no, I ain't washing it. That's for the client to do. So there's still a lot of paint dust all over this one. We might have to give it a little touch up for the client before he comes in here. 12 HT, she's dropped straight in place. It's all rebuilt. Let's go through a few things. I'll say, straight up, I don't know, this is a very small little air filter box. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's custom, if it's homemade, and same with the catch can. As Richard always says, 12 HT don't need one, especially a rebuild engine. Somebody's put it in his ear that he needs it. I'll address something else. If we have a close look at this heater blower resistor here, it's pretty damn ugly. And a lot of our followers will know we've got ones on the shelf that replace the original now that look a lot nicer. So that's a wild bit of kit. Mr. Landcruiser is not responsible for under the bonnet of this car. Basically, we just ran it up for him. So also, while under the engine bay, I don't normally pick on them too much. I ignore things, but we'll go through it. If you're doing a 12HT conversion, we prefer to upgrade the radiator to a 47 one. This has still got the HJ45 radiator. Engine runs pretty cool. It may never be an issue. That's just our preference to upgrade them with the 47 shroud radiator, the whole kit and caboodle. And this thing, being a 45, did not have disc brakes. It's now got disc brakes. Something we may have done is upgraded, not may have, we would have upgraded the booster. That's a drum brake booster. I've driven this thing, it's registered, it pulls up. I'm just being nitpicky about a few little things that we would probably change here, or if you're thinking of doing it at home, realise when you do an engine swap, there's wiring, there's cooling, there's mounts. While you've got the 5-speed Audi, you're going to do a clutch, flywheel, rear main, seals, brake booster. When you're following with disc brakes, this one also has power steer, which makes it really, really lovely to drive. That's under the bonnet. Oh, I will mention, I forgot something. It's got the boost T there. Now that this engine has been tuned, so it's probably not running the factory pound anymore. It's all been tuned. It's got the G turbo, as I mentioned, so she's probably running a few more boosts. Maybe it does need a bigger radiator in the future. We'll let Rob decide that one. It's bloody nice in here. Now let's talk about a bit of the interior. The seats I'm sitting on are straight out of a 60. And if anyone knows or reads the forums, these seats are a plug and play. If you've kept your old seat rails, even easier. I believe the driver's seat can use the 60 series rails, but it sets it up at a different height. But if you've got your 47 or your late model 45 seat rails, they will they line up on the holes on these old 60 series seats, and they're quite comfortable. I ran them myself. I prefer the 47 ones, a little bit more legroom, but these are probably where you lose legroom, you get comfort with these. So if you're a midget, these ones are probably a little bit nicer above my head. Now, when they put the reproduction roof in there, they've gone through with a new hood lining. It's come up bloody lovely, cleaned it all up. So that's one thing be aware of when you're doing these at home or whatever. A new roof means a new hood lining. We've got one now. There's a foam underneath, so we can't put the old one back in. It's just a mess. So new hood lining's gone in there, and I'll work my way down to the floor. The floor, I won't say the company, you probably all know, but because they're not quite as nice as the Noble ones, but whoever's fitted this done a pretty tidy job. To come, Rob himself is going to do the car builders in this one. It's a labour intensive job. Now, if you want to do car builders properly, and Rob wants to run aircon in this, if you want to keep it cool in here, you pull the interior out, pull the heater out, pull the floor out, go up your firewall. Mine's got it up in the cowl, behind my seats, in the roof, a few little bits in the door to stop the wobbles. So very labour intensive. So Rob's going to gutter it himself and do the car builders before he does the aircon. One little job we've got left is the cup holders. They'll go in their position on the floor. A car without cup holders is pretty painful, and takes me to the dash. The last thing to really talk about is the dash. We've got a few aftermarket gauges pre-fitted before Rob's time, but they're all wired in, volt gauge, temp gauge, and a little tacho RPM gauge, all set up now for the 12HT. Everything else is pretty standard. He does have a GME radio and a stereo in place. I don't think the speakers have been put back in this. I'm sure Rob's going to update the sound system as well, but when he gets it back. Hello, this is Bluey, everybody. She's a blue heeler, if you haven't noticed, and she's my dog. Now that's it. Rob's on his way to pick this one up very, very soon. Again, Mr. Landcruiser's done some electrical and stuff. I haven't mentioned, Rob's gone through with brand new suspension as well while he's had it. He's got open diffs, but brand new suspension. I'm pretty sure Rob is really excited. He's been calling a few days in a row because he loves this car and he's pumped and he just wants to come pick it up and drive it. It's been great having it here. It's such a sweet engine to have in a 40 series. I've really enjoyed it. It's time to say goodbye to this HJ45 with the 12 HT, 5-speed, disc brakes, power steer. What a lovely rig.